Are you a foreign trained physical therapist wondering if you can skip the TOEFL requirement? You are in the right place. Many states require TOEFL for licensure, but a few don't, saving you time, money, and stress. Hello, everybody. My name is Doc Jane Ruder. I'm your foreign educated physical therapist guide to United States application. So there are so many comments and messages, from different social media platform of Just Upright that I receive asking what are the states that do not require TOEFL. Okay, so in this video, we're going to discuss what is TOEFL, what is needed, where do you need TOEFL, and if it is still possible for you to skip TOEFL for your United States application as a physical therapist. That is all coming right up. States that do not require TOEFL. Okay, so first you have to understand what is TOEFL, Test of English as Foreign Language. So we are foreign educated. So when you apply here to the US, they want to make sure that you can communicate in English. Okay, so when you test for TOEFL, it has 4 parts. It has the reading, writing, listening, and speaking part. Okay, so why do you need TOEFL? Okay. So this is very critical for you to understand, guys, okay? So listen well. TOEFL has 2 uses, okay? So not all states, but majority of the states in the United States require TOEFL before you can take the NPTE, okay? There are few that do not require TOEFL, okay? So TOEFL can be required by the state. So that is a state level, okay? So that's one use of TOEFL. If the specific state that you're applying requires it, okay? You have to remember the principle. We have 50 states here in the US and they have different requirements. There's no universal requirement in all states. Each state is different and they have their own requirements, okay? So a state can tell you, we need your TOEFL score, okay? So that is for state. Another use of TOEFL is it is a requirement to get the healthcare worker certificate. Okay, so the type 1 review for immigration requires you to pass TOEFL. The healthcare worker certificate is needed by your employer to file you with a working or immigrant visa. Okay, so if you don't have working or immigrant visa and you're not exempted, even if the state doesn't require TOEFL, you might still need TOEFL, again, if you're not exempted, for the healthcare worker certificate. So that is very important, okay, to understand, okay? So we're going to discuss what is, the exemption for TOEFL, okay? So according to FSBPT, according to FCCPT, if the applicant earned the bachelor's degree or higher from the United States, United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, or Canada except Quebec, you are exempted from TOEFL, okay? If the applicant, also this is very important, if the applicant graduated from CAPTE accredited physical therapist education program, so the TDPT from US-based university, you are exempted from TOEFL. Okay, so this is true when it comes to applying for healthcare worker certificate. Okay, so this second statement here is true for healthcare worker certificate. So it's different. Again, there are 2 different offices for the state, and it is different for FCCPT, credentialing agency, for the healthcare worker certificate. Okay, so this exemption, if you are TDPT graduate from US-based university that's CAPTE accredited, you can be exempted from TOEFL but it doesn't mean that that the state will exempt you. Okay, so that is the reason why I keep on saying you have to go straight to the Board of Physical Therapy of the state where you're applying. Read all the requirements. They may require TOEFL, but here, third statement, some states may waive it if your school, okay, release a document that certifies that the mode of instruction or communication during your physical therapy schooling or program was done in English. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So in general, I just want to recap this. In general, if you came from these countries, on the top, you are exempted from TOEFL, no question about it. Okay, if you are TDPT and you're applying to FCCPT, specifically, I received email straight from FCCPT that if you are a graduate from CAPTE accredited US-based university with TDPT degree, you are exempted from TOEFL. So if you graduated from a master's degree that is not US-based, that is based in your country, then you are not exempted from TOEFL under FCCPT. Okay? Again, it depends on the state where you want to apply. Read the instruction, read the requirements. Many states actually will waive the TOEFL requirement if your school can produce a document that the mode of teaching communication while you were at school being taught physical therapy program was done in English. Okay, so I hope that is very clear because that is very important to understand. Okay, so the passing score from this came from FSBPT. The composite, so meaning the combination of reading comprehension, listening comprehension, and writing, 63. Okay, the speaking part, this is they are very strict with the speaking part, is 26. Okay, 26 over 30. So there's a very narrow margin for error here because you have 4 errors, depending on an analyzer or the grader for the quality of your speaking when you're taking the TOEFL test. Okay, so this is the passing score for TOEFL, 63. And this is for FCCPT requirement, okay? Or FSBPT requirement in general. Now, as you can see here below, it says individual jurisdictions or the state may have different additional requirements. So, if for example, the state didn't say anything about the passing score of TOEFL, but they require TOEFL, and they say based on FSBPT's passing score, this is the passing score based on FSBPT. Some states will have the same passing score for reading comprehension, listening, and writing, but their speaking may be 24 only, okay, for that state. Again, it's different for the state, it's different for healthcare worker certificate or type 1 review for immigration, okay? So, for the states that do not require TOEFL, okay, I actually read through the different websites of the states and I found out these states do not require TOEFL, but there are some drawbacks on some of them. There are some disadvantages on some of them. Okay, so Georgia, okay, needs school certification. So meaning if you can be exempted from TOEFL if your school again can produce that the education was taught in English. The only drawback in Georgia is there is a required supervised clinical practice. Okay, so you cannot practice on your own yet. You need a PT supervisor. Okay, for at least 3 months, I think, for Georgia. For Colorado, they don't require TOEFL, but they need social security number, which is hard if you are not a U.S. immigrant or U.S. citizen, okay? Or you're not here with a working visa. If you don't have social security, U.S. social security number, then it's hard to apply to Colorado. The same is true for Connecticut, social security number. Delaware, background check, so it means it needs social security number. Indiana doesn't require TOEFL, but it needs social security number. Florida is easy because they don't require social security number. They don't require TOEFL. Florida, though, you have to know that it has jurisprudence examination, the physical therapy practice law examination, just like taking the NPTE. Okay, Kansas, can be exempted if you again have a school certification, but they need social security number. Michigan needs school certification, background check, needs social security number. New Mexico, okay, is I'm going to make a video about requirements of New Mexico. They don't require TOEFL. I didn't see any background check. So that is easy, just like Florida. New York does not require a social security number, but as of October 2024, they require any applicant to have a DPT degree, okay? It used to be the easiest state, but now it's one of the hardest state. Okay, Pennsylvania doesn't require TOEFL, okay, but they have this very hard requirement. The applicant shall provide documentation of legal authorization to seek employment in the United States or its territory. So meaning, you cannot apply to Pennsylvania if you are not yet a U.S. immigrant or U.S. citizen, okay? Because that is what it means. I'm not a immigration lawyer, but I think that's what it means for you to provide documentation of legal authorization to seek employment in the United States or territory. So either that or working visa, okay? So these are the states that do not require TOEFL: Georgia, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Indiana, Florida, Kansas, Michigan, New Mexico, New York, Pennsylvania. But the least, okay, complicated among all these states are Florida and New Mexico so far, okay? But correct me if I'm wrong. If you had any experience with any of this state, just let me know down in the comment section below what you think, okay? Now, just in case, with all those states, you're not interested in any of those states, and you're going to really apply to a state that really requires TOEFL. Okay, guys, here's the deal, okay? So you're going to speak English here in the US. English is the primary language here in the US, okay? And you have to be clear with your communication with your patient, because if not, it can cause a lot of problems, miscommunication. It can cause you trouble at work, okay, with your patients, and complaints about, that they cannot understand you. They don't want you as their therapist because you cannot communicate effectively, okay? So if there is really no, skipping TOEFL for you, okay, do not be afraid of it. TOEFL can be learned. If you can speak English, you can harness your English, okay? I will put the links for these videos that I made, practical tips on how to pass the TOEFL, all you need to know about TOEFL, and the TOEFL Q&A videos that I made on the description section below, okay? So what do you think about this video? Is this helpful for you? Okay, let me know in the comment section below, okay? All right, I just want to add, guys, that do not waste your time taking IELTS, okay? Because IELTS is not accepted in any state in the US, okay? It's not even accepted by FSBPT. CGFNS is the only one that accepts it for visa screen certificate. So if you have a choice between IELTS and TOEFL, take TOEFL, because that is the one majorly accepted in the US. You will just waste your money if you're going to take IELTS, okay, for English proficiency examination, okay? So I hope this is helpful for you guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe, because it will help me reach more foreign educated physical therapists around the world to make it easier for them to apply here to the US. You are needed here. There are thousands of work waiting for you. So get up, do your application, process your application. It can be done. It may be hard. but it's all worth it, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Until the next video, stay blessed.